What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Meditations. So, I've been out of the dating game for about 10 years. So one might think, well, Iceman, what do you have to say about this? Well, my response would be, hoes haven't changed, all right? They're the same as they've always been. It's just the dynamics have shifted to an extent, and they've really optimized their so-called selection methods. I remember when I was 15 years old, the internet was just starting to become a really dominant thing in households. And I had an interaction with a young woman. She was about a year younger than me. She was in my same high school class. Yeah, I think I was a sophomore in high school. Cute little thing, right? Nice, pale skin, petite, smart chick, a bit tenacious. I didn't like that, but I didn't know better. So, of course, I date the girl, and my mom would always tell me, oh, yeah, Ice Boy, you have to be nice to women, bring them flowers, be sweet, this and that's how you get them. Of course, from her, I observed kind of the opposite, right? Like, what kind of guy did she select? Was he just a nice pushover pussy who gave her flowers and shit? No. He was an alpha. You know what I mean? He'd get mad. He'd iterate his way, okay? To say the least. There's a difference from what women say they want and what they need. You know what I mean? You can't trust a bunny to give a wolf advice on how to catch a bunny. All right? It's not going to work. And just one more maybe cliche, this one's important. You know that old saying, nice guys finish last? Well, I've refined it. What it should be is this. Nice guys don't finish at all. You know? I mean, they don't finish. They don't get that little happy ending, if you know what I mean, because they don't get any. The only fucking happy ending they get is in front of their computer screen, which is a big deal. You guys got to stay away from that shit. But that's for another video. So nonetheless, I am married. I've been married for like 8 or 9 years or something. Was with the girl for a couple more. So that's what I mean when I say, oh, am I out of the loop? I don't think so. I'm an observer, and I do know some fundamentals in that the women haven't really changed. And also what should be mentioned is I never really had too much of an issue with women. All right. I had my shy years early on as a young boy or whatever. I came into the dating game a little late. Like I said, I was 15 years old, I think, when I had my first girlfriend. And then I learned quick, and I'll get back to that in just a minute. But I was always tall, 6'4". So I had a lot of things working for me. Nice, deep voice, kind of. Muscles, to an extent, a little bit more now than I used to, but always worked out, stayed fit. So I had those things working in my favor. I mean, I wasn't perfect. My teeth were fucked up. I don't know. I had braces since then. I think they're pretty good now. I need to whiten them, but I just don't give a shit at this point. But in terms of those little subtle things, because there's things that are a lot more important than that. And like I said, I'm married. And I found my woman via the grocery store. I would go around and I'd see attractive women and I'd approach them and try to start conversation with them, whether or not I was nervous about it, try to start conversation. And practice makes perfect. It didn't take me long at all, and that's how I got my wife. I thought she looked good. You know, she was the build I wanted. She looked smart. She looked interesting. So that's what I did, and I made a rule for myself. I was like, I am only going to approach women who I find attractive. You know, I was like, no fat bitches. Not even close. You know, not going to, I'll keep it at that. But in fact, I mean, like even a little, you know, if they're like baby fit, I don't know. I wanted to keep it, you know, where I knew I'd be happy. Because then I knew I wouldn't end up. The problem is, if you're desperate enough and you maybe say you're like, maybe I'll do something with this fat bitch. You know, I've seen this happen enough where initially the guy probably wouldn't date her, right? Like on paper, like if he were to be flipping through a book or something, he'd be like, oh, no, I wouldn't date her. No, I wouldn't date her. The problem is if you are desperate enough and you lower yourself to such standards, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to be a bro. I'm just going to be a F-boy, and I'm just going to let her suck my you know what. That often spirals into then the relationship. That's why my rule was, nope, don't touch them. Don't touch anybody who I'm not attracted to. You know? But I digress. So when I was 15 years old, this girl left me, right? I was nice to her. I was sweet. I was what mommy told me, and she left me. It's like, what the fuck just happened? You know, I was heartbroken, right? I was all upset. She left me for probably some bad boy. I don't know who the hell the guy was. I heard he looked like a fucking dinosaur, but I mean, I don't know. Strangely enough, the girl came back to me, and I took her back. And that time, I did some research. So it worked out a lot better that time. And here's the research that I did. After the girl left me, I went on Google, right? Google was a thing back then still. Or it was a thing back then. That was after its emergence. And I Googled, or maybe it was Yahoo, I don't know. But I Googled, what do women want in a guy? And how to maintain attraction with women. What I found was startling. And it sort of started to solidify the world that I've observed rather than the world that I've been told of. The world that my mother told me about, for example. I think that's probably a big problem. I think moms unintentionally really mislead their sons into a sort of deception of what women want, right? Like, don't go by what she tells you, you know, go by what she does. And you'll often find the answer somewhere in that. So I Googled this shit, and this guy came up. His name was David D'Angelo. He was the first guy that I know about who was talking about the game, right? And he's really the only guy I ever really looked into thoroughly who was talking about the game. I was like, the fuck is the game? And I'd be getting all these spam emails from them, but I mean, they were awesome. Like they kept trying to get me to sign up for some newsletter that you pay for. I never paid for it. I just read like the snippets from it, and the snippets were enough for me to learn some shit. Like these guys would talk about their scenario with other women. They'd be like, oh yeah, here's my success story. It was like a way to promote this David D'Angelo's book, his book or something. They'd be like, oh yeah, I was in the restaurant with her. I poked fun at her glasses. I teased her for this and that. I kind of joked and alluded how I don't give a shit about, you know, what people think of me, and not afraid, you know, just kind of made subtle little nuanced impressions that I'm a tough guy, bad boy, don't give a shit. And I teased her about this and that and got some laughs. And of course, she slept with me that night. You know, like it was just story after story after story. And I was like, huh. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. It's like, huh, because the world that I observe, it's always the bad boys that get the women. It's always like the rappers, the thugs, the baddies, you know what I mean? The guy on Tether who doesn't even have a fucking job, who's an alcoholic, who has these fucking tats all over his face. And he's the one getting the good bitches. And I was like, huh. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Okay. So women like the bad boys. So what did I do? I started kind of trying to act like I was a bad boy, to an extent. You know, I never took it too far. I didn't go as far as to get the tattoos all over my fucking body and face. I had some dignity about it. You know, I never liked the tattoos, and I can't stand them on women. I would not date one with a tattoo. I don't give a shit if it's a fucking little dolphin on her ankle or whatever. I'm not dating a woman with a tattoo. I think there's a biological imperative as to why guys don't like that. And strangely enough, it's like one of the few things that all three of the mainstream religions disagree on. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They all agree that tattoos are fucking disgusting. Especially on women, you know, because women, it's about cleanliness. And when you get a tattoo, it just instinctively, I want to just like, oh, you got to rub that off before we do anything. You know, before, okay, yes, I want to copulate with you, but I want you to be clean. Can you rub that dirt off, or that what looks like maybe feces over on your that fat, your little love handle back there? Can you rub that up? And then she tells me, no, she can't. It's like, are you kidding me? That shit is on there permanently? It's like, how do I even know if it's clean under there? You know, you got the tattoo that covers it. How do I know that there's not like specks of shit or whatever, and it's just, you can't see it because the black tattoo is behind it? You know what I mean? Like, how do I know you didn't clean that spot? Like, the rest of you looks clean, but you gotta get a little cloth and rub that shit off. I would recommend to you guys, do not date women who have tattoos, because we need to send a loud, clear fucking message that they are disgusting. All right. And I feel bad for the ones who have them. You know, I don't like kicking a dog when it's down. So if I see a chick who has tattoos, I kind of have a rule where I don't positively reinforce it. I don't like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I think a lot of guys do that because they know that that's sort of an in with women. It's like a talking point. They'll see a tattoo on her. They'll be like, oh, wow, that's cool. I mean, even though realistically, they don't really like the tattoo. They just know that it's a method of maybe gaining access to communication with her and maybe flattering her. Not that she needs that. I'm sure she gets plenty of that. So it just makes you look like a little pussy simp, and you're not going to get anything from it anyway. But I just see it often where they'll compliment women's tattoos, and you got to make sure you don't do that, because you're just solidifying that whole thing that is causing a dissent in civilization. You know, bitches shouldn't be getting tattoos. It's fucking gross. And it's just another indicator of, oh, another guy who had his hands on you, another guy who touched you, more shit you did that your daddy didn't want you to do, even though it seems like the woke daddies are like affirming it or something, which, yeah, way to look out for your daughter's future, you know. She's not going to get the best of men if she has the tattoos. That's the problem, is she's going to be higher up in the tier list if she doesn't have any. And if I had a daughter, I would want her to get a masculine, strong, protective, safe, reliable, hardworking man. You know what I mean? And the guys who are at the top of the list, they're not going to want the chicks with the tattoos all over the fucking place. And the one, if all things are equal, the chick that does not have the tattoos versus the chick that does have the tattoos, the chick that does not will be the one who the man gets. So the chick that has the tattoos, she's going to be left for all the bottom feeder thugs and all that other shit. All right, so it's important to look out. I mean, if you're a father, I mean, what I would do, just be straight about it. No exceptions if you have a daughter. From the time she can fucking talk, be like, oh yeah, just subtle things. Yeah, tattoos are disgusting. Yeah, especially on women. Be like, oh yeah, women, no, don't get tattoos. No, you're gonna lower your value getting tattoos. You know, that's what I would do if I were a father. I don't give a fuck if it's not PC, if it's not woke enough. It's one of those things where if they get a little one, they're going to get another one, and they could get it. It's like a gateway. They're going to have it all wrapped around their whole fucking body. And it's a taint to beauty. You know what I mean? But yeah, this video is not supposed to be about tattoos. It's a bit of a passion of mine talking about that stuff, but let's go back. So I started looking up David D'Angelo's talk about the game, and I started sort of embodying that along with my buddies. I had a couple buddies, and, we had a girlfriend or two or 15. A couple of them were older than me, 16, 17. which was a great thing. I got to learn shit quick. But when I discovered this shit, I can't remember if I did it or one of my buddies discovered it. I don't really know how it happened, but we discovered this shit about the game. I think I discovered the David D'Angelo guy. And we started reading this shit, and we'd like talk about it. We'd like sit back and laugh about it, having some pizza, some soda or whatever. We just talk about the game, right? We talk about what we said to this girl and how she reacted, and we'd laugh our asses off. You know, we'd say, oh yeah, I teased her about her shoes, and I just acted like a playa. I told her about this other girl that I'm seeing, and of course she ate it all up and she wanted to do something bad with me. You know what I mean? That's basically how it worked. It was crazy. And before our eyes, we were witnessing what seemed like magic. It's like, holy shit. It's like all of a sudden we can have success with women. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And that girl that left me, I ended up getting back with her. And then there was another girl that I got on the side. I was like, holy shit, this whole thing started. I was a little pussy bitch, and she left me reasonably so, because they don't want that. They want an alpha. You know, they don't want a pushover. And whether or not they tell you that, even the modern women, if I were dating today, because the problem is a lot of these modern women, they're brainwashed, right? They're woke. I wouldn't be upfront with being like, oh yeah, I hate all that woke shit, and I vote this way, and I wouldn't say that to them. What I would do is I would maybe subtly showcase some grinding against the grain, like if it's like I try to keep it out of the conversation, but if she were to like bring it up, I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't really tell people my politics right away. I got to get to know them more, and just kind of make some little jokes with her about it. Like, I got to trust you first. Ha ha ha, both laugh or whatever. And then you could subtly try to ease them in to maybe an awakening. Because that's what they need. They're all brainwashed through media, entertainment, news, music, academia. They've all taught them all this brainwashing shit. Men are evil, men are racist, men hate women, this and that. It's just endless. Men are bad, this and that. You need a woke fucking pussy. But the problem is they don't want that. They say that they want it, but they don't want it. So you can't be that. You gotta be the other thing. You gotta be the alpha, confident, strong, breaking through, not afraid, don't give a fuck. The pursuit of betterment, you know what I mean? You got to be all that, and you can't be one of these woke pussies that they act like they want. Because again, a bunny doesn't really know what it wants, but it's unable to teach. It's against it's a paradox. It can't teach a wolf how to catch it. So you get them all like all these celebrities and shit. Well, that's just all paid for bullshit. But just in the real world, you'll see the woman who act like, oh yeah, I want this kind of guy. I want some pushover guy, and all that. But no, that's just not how it works. So that's probably what I would do if I were in the dating game today. Is I'd keep that stuff under wraps, but I'd have subtle things about my interactions with her that slowly ease her into, no, I'm a man and you're a woman, and that's a fucking good thing. You know what I mean? Like it would slowly move us in that direction. But I think I would like to make more videos on this topic. A lot of the problem today is there's a lot of variables. They're putting shit in the food. It's killing testosterone. Guys are on their asses too much. They're watching the stuff on the internet with the images and the people doing things. They're watching that too much. It's destroying their psyche. It's destroying their dopamine. It's destroying their endorphins. It's destroying their physicality, the food and everything else. And then the women, they find an optimal way to be with the top 5% of men. So they're all playing cock carousel with these guys in the top 5%. So unfortunately, that's part of the trick, is trying to become one of those guys. But aside from that, there's also ones who kind of fall through the cracks. There's women who don't really indulge in that shit. In fact, there's a good percentage of them who aren't even on online dating. And as far as I see it, those are the ones who aren't the hoes anyway. So those are the good ones to look out for. And I think they're out there, but more videos on this coming up. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on these matters, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace be with you.